If you miss out on a top 9 quarterback, it's not the end of the world, but you're going to have a headache the rest of the season picking every single week which quarterback you want to stream. But if you find yourself in this situation, which quarterbacks are worth drafting and which ones should be passed on? This is Draft or Pass Streaming Quarterback Edition. Okay, so really it's part 2 of my must draft quarterback video, but I figured I really wanted to stress how important the top 9 are, that I'd make them their separate video. If you want to understand why I think it's so important to draft one of these top 9 quarterbacks, I'll put this video up here, and it'll also be available at the end of the video for your viewing convenience. But most leagues need more than just 10 quarterbacks, so that means there's going to be a few teams in every league that need to stream quarterbacks week to week. It's not that you can't do it, but it is a little bit more tricky. So, which ones are worth it and which ones aren't? I'm going to go through every streaming quarterback, and that's basically the tier that I consider 10 through like 25, basically. They're all weekly matchup driven, and some are obviously more reliable than others, but they all have a similar floor and a similar ceiling because, let's face it, they're just quarterbacks in the NFL. So going by ADP, let's start with quarterback 10, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, I think, is a little overrated as quarterback 10. This feels like his ceiling, not his floor, so I'm willing to pass on Matthew Stafford. It's not like he's been that successful in his career, and I understand the Rams offense is really much better than the Detroit offense is, but I just think that there's no room for error when you draft Matthew Stafford as quarterback 10, so I don't feel like he's a must draft. He is valuable, but he's more like quarterback 13 in my opinion, rather than quarterback 10. Ryan Tannehill is definitely a good value at quarterback 11. He's a lock to be a top 12 quarterback, but his ceiling is capped sometimes. He feels like quarterback 10 is the right place. So I like Ryan Tannehill. He's definitely a good value around here. Jalen Hurts, I don't believe in the Eagles offense, so I pass on him. Joe Burrow, there's so much volume in the Cincinnati Bengals passing game that I really like Joe Burrow's potential. I was a little bit more concerned about, the news about his recovery and him feeling a little hesitant on the field, but I think that's overblown. I think he's going to be perfectly fine, and I'm not worried about Joe Burrow getting injured again. I really like him as quarterback 13. I have him as my quarterback 11. I would pass on Matt Ryan. I'm okay with Trevor Lawrence, but I think this is his ceiling, not his floor. Baker Mayfield, no thank you. Justin Fields, decent rushing stats. Kirk Cousins, no thank you. Ben Roethlisberger, no thank you. Trey Lance, I like Trey Lance's potential, especially long-term with Kyle Shanahan as quarterback, but I think quarterback 20 is too optimistic. I don't think he's going to see the starting job until like week 6 or so at the earliest, and it's possible he doesn't see it at all this year. So I don't think that Trey Lance is actually going to return this value. I think that's a bust of a pick. I don't really like Tua this high. I really love Derek Carr. He's a great floor play. So to get him as quarterback 22 is a steal. Deshaun Watson, I want to steer clear of. No thank you. Jameis Winston is another steal. Quarterback 24. He has top 15 potential. I like him a lot. Ryan Fitzpatrick has boom-bust potential. He's a good streaming option. Quarterback 25 is another steal. I would pass on Zach Wilson, the rookie. I would pass on Cam Newton. I think Mac Jones is going to take this job by like week 4 or so. And then Carson Wentz, he's interesting now that there's no concerns about his injury. I think he's a steal at quarterback 28. He'll be a top 20 quarterback by the end of the year if he plays all 17 games actually. Taysom Hill, no thank you. Jared Goff, no thank you. Daniel Jones, no thank you. But Sam Darnold as quarterback 32, that's a disrespectful ADP, and I think that the Carolina offense is really underrated. So those are my must-draft quarterbacks. Definitely you want one of these 9, but if you miss out, you want 2 of these streamers, and you can wait. You can play the waiting game on the quarterback. It's super deep, and there's quarterbacks going outside the top 20 that are definitely more valuable than they're giving credit for. There's one quarterback I didn't mention in that breakdown, and that's Teddy Bridgewater of the Denver Broncos. He definitely vaults up the draft board now that he's been named the starter in Denver, but I wouldn't really see him as more than like a quarterback 20 type of guy. He has a high floor, and there are going to be some weeks with a very high ceiling because he has got a lot of weapons in Denver It's an underrated offense. But still, he's a little bit more of a game manager, and this team relies on the defense. So I wouldn't count too much on Teddy Bridgewater, but he is a good floor play or a quarterback 3 in 2 quarterback or super flex leagues. My name is Adam Riancho, and thank you for watching Nice and Blunt.